Do you have any goals of owning your own funding company one day? Well, in today's video, my guest has done that, and we're going to talk about that, why he's ventured down this path, where he sees things going in the next year, and other ventures that he has outside of his funding business. Matthew Washington is the founder and CEO of MoneyWell GRP, a direct funding company based out of Miami. Matthew, thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for having me. My pleasure.
Sure. It's been a couple of years since we first met. Back, I think it was probably at one of the trade shows out west
in Las Vegas, in Henderson.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. So Matthew, let's just get right into it. I mean, what has made you go down this path you're on to now having your own funding company?
My journey in the MCA space started in 2009. So I have a lot of, I'm an old dog in this game, and it just got to the point to where I wanted to fully maximize my contacts and in my relationships that I created over, 13 years of being in the space. And an opportunity arose for me to be able to do so, and to kind of, build my own brand versus, making other people a whole bunch of money and building their brand. Not that it's negative and not that, that was a problem. Sure. It just, I think everyone comes to a point in their career where they, want to take a next step. And that's exactly what I did. And that's how MoneyWell GRP came about. I've been in this space a long time. I've never burned any bridges. And, I wanted to, take advantage of an opportunity for me to be able to, be a lender, have my own portfolio, and I'm not getting younger. And so a lot of people thought I was crazy. Hey, you were with Pierce Capital for, 8.5 years. And, we took that company to being, top 3 merchant cash advance companies in the nation. And, they're still my family, and, there's no bad blood or anything like that between us. And it was a mutual understanding, and, there's nothing but love in that regard. But, good. I also just wanted to maximize my full capability to service the clients that I've made over the last 13 years.
Sure. Okay. So how have you transitioned into that then? Having your own funding company, there's a transition. How did you kind of, either make the right contacts to, get the capital or whatever you needed to go into this?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I've been in the industry so long, so I have, a good track record to where, people know what I'm capable of. I've never been somewhere, and didn't grow it to the full, I've never gone anywhere and, not blown out the water. I'm not saying that in an arrogant standpoint. I'm just saying it from a factual standpoint. So I took advantage of an opportunity of people that wanted to invest into my product, into my brand. And it took a while for it to formalize. And now it's here, and now we're lending first through fourth position deals all the way up to $3.5 million. There's not too many people, when brokers in my network call me and they need $1 million deal funded and they need it funded the same day, that's kind of the attribute of MoneyWell GRP. We're a small boutique lender, and we deliver on the bigger files. That's kind of where we, excel. And now that, I have control of my own funding company, I'm able to make the decisions and get things done.
That's great. Any other, details about the actual, whether it be a capital raise or anything like that?
Yeah,
it's good share.
Yeah, it's friends and family in a private fund.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. And so tell me a little bit more about any other details on your underwriting then.
Yeah, so we underwrite. We have an appetite for everything, because we've been doing this a long time. So people can send me a deal that needs a 12-month term at a 12-month rate in the 1-2s, or someone can send me, a second or third position to where the deal only qualifies for a 4 to 6 month, somewhere in the, the high 3s, low 4s. So we kind of have cast our net everywhere. And that was the whole concept with MoneyWell, because when you go to the well, we can kind of service everything.
Sure.
But, having so much experience, we're able to wrap our head around deals very, very quickly. I don't really work with a lot of ISOs that I don't know. I've kind of stuck to, the main ISOs that I've done business with for the last 10 years. So that makes it very easy because, I know where the deals are coming from. They communicate with me heavily on the deals. They let me know upfront what they need. And once we kind of talk about the deal and we understand what's going on, merchant interviews are very huge for us. We do have thorough merchant interviews. It's part of a huge part of our underwriting process. Because that's where we believe we can cover the most ground, is talking directly to the merchant on certain things that we have questions on. And that's a huge part of our underwriting process. But we don't let it, slow up the process. The quicker we can get on the phone, get the contracts out to the merchant, wrap our head around certain things that we have questions on, we're funding after that, actually. So it's a very hands-on approach. When we go in and do the bank login, that's almost essentially our funding call. We're going through the bank login and via Zoom, via screen share with the merchant, and we're kind of going through the deal with them. And then it also allows us to kind of catch anything that might have been lost in translation between the merchant and the broker. So that's a huge part of what we do.
Okay. All right. So then where do you see things going in the next year for you,
Well,
the company?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball and I can't predict the future, but I think that, there's going to be an adjustment, obviously. And I also know that, we went through the first recession in 2008, 2009, and we went through COVID. And I think that the people that have their own, processes and their capital in place, I don't think it's the end of the world. I just think that there's going to be an adjustment in the type of deals that are going to be coming across people's desks, are going to have stories to them. I think that there's going to be, a little bit more of everyone's going to have to get hands-on. I think that it's not going to just be able to be so automated depending on how the economy goes. So I think people that are able to pivot and adjust and not have themselves spread out too thin are going to be okay, But I think the interaction with the merchants are going to be different. I think it's going to be a whole different deal. Particularly for the people that can lend up, 7 figures. I think that, the bigger merchants, the companies that have been around for, 5+ years, they're going to need capital. There's a lot of industries that aren't going to be affected by the recession. It's just like anything. The business owners that are prepared for it are going to withstand this. And the merchants that haven't are probably going to have issues. It's no different than a lender. The lenders that have, reserves and have policies put in place that have kept them from, not going under thus far. I mean, a lot of us made it through COVID. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but there's going to be an adjustment, and I think that you got to take it week by week right now. Last month was a very, very odd month. It was, it's traditionally slow in our industry. People are on vacation, people are getting ready to go back to school. There's different priorities that are, taking place. And so traditionally, the month of July is slow, but last month it was very, very different. And then boom, the last day of the month, our month was saved just by 11th hour deals coming through. One of the merchants actually said, yeah, I've been on vacation for 2 weeks. I'm like, you've been on vacation for 2 weeks. I maybe need to be borrowing money from you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Like you're on vacation for 2 weeks, but yeah,
Yeah, the end of the month, last day, they want to cram it in. I mean, um, it's amazing with some of these. What do you remember what type of industry that was? Or
it was a construction company.
okay, interesting. Okay,
Yeah. So I'm heavy into construction,
yeah.
manufacturing. We like trucking if they have, multiple trucks and some big revenues, but that's medical.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was a construction deal.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, it was just the weirdest thing. But I think that, there is caution that you need to put into what's happening just in the world in general. And that's ultimately going to affect the economy. And I think if you don't think so, you're just not in reality. But
Yeah.
our industry is strong. There's a lot of smart people in this industry. There's a lot of lenders that, do things the right way. And there's a lot of smart people. And, that's, I think, the best thing about being in this industry is that we are here for the brokers and the merchants to, fund the U.S. businesses, small businesses. So
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I would agree as far as adaptability. There's enough companies that, are funding that have been around for a while, and they're going to make the adjustments. They're seeing, what's coming down the line. Like you said, different steps to take in maybe in the underwriting process, interacting with the merchant differently. I 100% can see that. I mean, with different, I mean, from site inspections to, whatever the case may be. So
yeah,
let's maybe transition a little bit. I mean, you're a busy man. We see you a lot on different platforms, and you have some other things going, like a podcast you just started up. Tell us a little bit more about that and any other ventures that you have going.
yeah, I'm big on social media because I think it allows people to know who I really am. And I think it's good for not just our industry. I think it's good to expose who you are and being real and authentic. I don't always talk about financial stuff. There's some motivational stuff in there. There's some life stuff in there.
Yeah,
because that's
really
a big
good.
part of. Thank you.
Yep.
That's a big part of who I am. I've gone through some personal journeys in my life. Being a young person in this industry, blowing through your money, making their bad decisions. So there's a lot of things that I put out there for people to know that they're not alone,
Sure. Yeah. I think a
So
lot
I
of people
have,
need that. Yep.
yeah. I mean, and I think that's, I think that's just a big part of who I am. And one of my missions in life is to help younger, guys and gals in their sales career that, might be going through something. When I was younger, I always thought everyone else was doing more than me. I always thought that I wasn't on the right path, and it caused me to kind of have, too much anxieties about the wrong things.
Right.
Everyone looks cool on social media. They don't, no one posts the bad crap. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that's a big part. I post about 12 videos on LinkedIn and Instagram, minimal on a monthly basis.
Mm-hmm.
I have a podcast that's called the it's a Maddie Washington show, and closer culture is the concept.
Right.
I'm trying to bridge the gap of influence. I think there's a lot of people out there that have 100 followers that should have 100,000 followers. And I think that there's people out there that have millions of followers that should have 0 followers. So I'm trying to expose, the people out there that I think need a bigger voice. So, I just got done interviewing a guy named Alvin Hope Johnson. He's huge in the multifamily market, builds apartment homes and that whole multifamily deal. And he just has a heck of a story. But, that's someone that I think should have as much followers as a Grant Cardone. You know what I mean? So that's my mission, is to expose the people that need to be. Not saying that Grant doesn't need to be. He's a great guy. I'm just saying, I think I want to bridge the gap of what's influential now. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And
that's all industry, all business types, all industry, different personal backgrounds and everything.
Yeah, all industries, everyone's welcome. I had a principal. I had Alvin Johnson that it was, he's in the real estate business. And I just interviewed my friend Matt Morgan. He was in the cannabis space. Now he has one of the biggest gyms here in Miami, and the guy's done so many things. So yeah, I don't want to isolate myself just to one box, because you can't really make a big change if you're just focused on, the industries, but the concept is closer culture, because I think everyone's a closer. And I think that word people only recognize it for 5 guys in the finance space closing deals. But, like a single mom raising 2 kids, working 2 jobs, she's a closer.
Yeah. Yep.
So, she just doesn't, just because, she's not in the finance space or wheeling and dealing on the finance side doesn't mean you're a closer. So it's the Maddie Washington Show and the concept closer culture. I got 3 episodes under my belt now. I'm going to wait another month to start segmenting them out and figuring out how I'll keep you posted. I'm about 30 days away.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely would like to help you, get the word out, and, we can always come back and see how it's going. We'll drop your links, of course, for your website now and how to find you, below the video. But so you're based in Miami, but you're not from down here, right? Your football team was kind of, our last topic of discussion.
Oh, the Steelers?
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I grew up in the Bay Area, California, really close to Oakland, California.
Okay.
And my first football game I ever went to was the Oakland Raiders versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I was a huge fan of Cordell Stewart when he played for Colorado.
Yeah.
Wanted to be like him, would go out in the front yard and try to be like him, because, he was kind of like the first, African-American quarterback that would scramble. And, when I was a kid.
Famous Hail Marys in all of college football history.
The Hail Mary.
Yeah.
So we would do that. We actually did that in our front yard all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I loved him. And my neighbor, Marty Flanagan, was from Pittsburgh. And he actually worked at the Port of Oakland, and he got these tickets, front row tickets. I didn't know that. And he walks us to the Coliseum. We keep walking down. We just keep walking down the stairs. And I'm like, holy crap, we're pretty close. And he goes, we got front row tickets.
No way. Nice.
So yeah. So I fell in love with the Steelers, and then they're a pretty good team. So I was kind of lucky. It was weird going to school because I had all Pittsburgh gear and stuff like that. So in California, it was all about the Raiders, the Giants.
If you're in the Bay Area, you gotta be Raiders or Niners. And then 2000s though, Steelers ran off 3 titles, right? Was it 3 or 2?
Yeah. Well, 2. Yeah.
2.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So what's your outlook? Okay, so your outlook for the Steelers, what are you thinking for them this year?
Well, I think it comes down to, what QB makes it. We got Trubinsky, we got Pickett.
Mm-hmm.
We still got Mason Rudolph. I don't think there's nothing there with him, or they wouldn't have went out and got Trubinsky.
It's got to be either Pickett or Trubisky. I would think Trubisky has a leg up just, for the first couple of games, unless Pickett just goes, wild in preseason or training camp. But
yeah, so it just depends, man. If whichever guy, whatever guy takes the opportunity is going to win, is going to get the job, I wish we would have got like Marcus Mariota, someone like that. But he went down to Atlanta.
Yep.
But Trubinsky can run a little bit, and he showed a little bit of promise when he was on the Bills. But, we held on to Ben a little bit too long.
I was going to say, for sure, a couple, like 2-3 years too long. They should have at least had someone drafted highly sitting on the bench, or,
we should have went after Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
We could have picked him up. Yeah.
Probably a number of QBs. Well, I'm a Dolphins fan, so I've been in misery for the last 20 plus years. I mean, it was different growing up though. I mean, I grew up down here, so we were winning up until like 2000, 2001, and then our winning team playoffs almost every year, all that, and then last 20 plus years is 2 playoff appearances. So, but hopefully, I mean, things are turning around a little bit. It's a hyped up squad with some new players, some speed on that offense.
Yeah, I can't wait to go to the game just to see Tyreek and Waddle, man.
Yeah, that's a sick combo. That's something to watch. Or I mean, all these highlights in training camp is just already getting everyone fired up. And we'll see if Tua can do it. I think if the line protects him, he's got talent to be an offense that can score 30 a game. We'll see, but that's a lot of talent on that team. Certainly compared to previous years.
Yeah. And I think, and just like this conversation, I think one of the beautiful things about this about this industry and everything, like I always try to keep it. I become friends with who I do business with. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
as much as you got to keep it about the financial stuff, the deals and the deals,
Mm-hmm.
when you kind of just be yourself and expose what you like and what you're about, the deals are going to come. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like on Friday, I had a partner call me. I've been doing business with him for years. He's like, Matt, I need a $900,000 deal funded by the end of the day. This particular merchant is not going to pay more than a 3% origination fee.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, cool, no problem. And got it done within 6 hours.
Wow. 900K in 6 hours.
First position, 12-month deal, 125, paying them 3 points. Boom.
Wow.
But it's because of, but it's crazy. We were talking about football the day before, this guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Right.
So if I wasn't talking to him about other stuff, I wouldn't have been on top of mind. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I think relationships are going to come into play, definitely when things might get a little bit tighter,
Right. I mean, that's kind of who you're going to go to first. I mean, just kind of like who you keep on board as ISOs. I mean, your tightest relationships are going to be who last, and you got to build those. And, on this, as I've only done, kind of a handful of these so far, interviews and video style.
You're doing great, brother.
Appreciate it. It's, but, I like to throw some other things in there. I think everyone, wants to hear certain concrete things about the topic at hand, whatever, but they also want to understand the person better, and that's how you connect, right? I mean, I think it would be stale to just talk about the same thing each video. So with that, I mean, I'll let you, anything else you want to share with the folks that are tuning in?
Yeah, no, if you're not doing business with us, I believe you should be. I do onboard new brokers. I welcome you guys with open arms, and would love to get you, submitting and show you what we're all about. I think just doing business with real people is what you're going to get with us. There's no gimmicks. There's no dog and pony show. I'm pretty upfront, and there's no gray area with me. So, would love to get more relationships. And if you're seeing this, please reach out to me. I respond to everyone that ever reaches out to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can also find MoneyWell GRP on the site. So people watching on the site right now, they can just go right over to your company page, and even directly hit one button. They can also directly email you. It'll come right to your inbox, and Matt'll reach out to you. So
yeah, and I'll reach out to you personally. Yeah, I reach out to you personally. I onboard everyone personally, and then I'll get you in the right direction. So you'll be dealing directly with me, and that's how we get things done.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time, man. And we'll do this down the line again. We'll stay in touch. And with that, we're gonna log off, and appreciate everyone watching. Thanks.
Thank you.